How is it possible that since Man of Steel came out over a decade ago, you still can't think about Superman without Henry Cavill popping into your mind? He is the first Superman actor to have that much weight since Christopher Reeve. So let's dive into 7 things that Man of Steel got right. And more importantly, let's see if James Gunn is doing the same thing. And let me know in the comments. Guys, this is a brand new channel focusing solely on Superman, so like and subscribe for more Superman content. Let's start off the list with number 7, which is that Man of Steel was its own movie. I really love the success of the Dark Knight trilogy, starting off with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. The reason I love those movies is it didn't worry about trying to include all these other characters in it. They did the same thing with the Tim Burton movie. And I really enjoy when you're able to just focus in on a superhero like that and then be their own thing outside of other characters and worrying about how you're going to tie in a story that can really affect the writing. With Man of Steel, though there was some Easter egg with the Wayne Tech Enterprises satellite in one scene, for the most part, this movie was written with the idea that Superman is Superman, that's what we're worried about. Unfortunately, Batman vs. Superman took our Man of Steel 2 from us and kind of took it a different direction. But I love that Man of Steel stuck with its own universe. I kind of want to know if you wish that James Gunn was doing the same thing, so let me know in the comments, because he clearly is not. His teaser trailer has more characters in it than I think the Justice League even had total in the Zack Snyder's Justice League movies. So anyways, let's stick to our list. Number 6, Krypton. Oh, Man of Steel got Krypton so right. One of the things that I liked about the Christopher Reeve movies was how it made Krypton seem so alien and different. And as soon as that movie opens, you see the alien world that they've created where their ships are kind of different than anything you're used to. They're very bug-like looking. There's a lot of architecture that's this is a family channel. I can't really talk about what the architecture looks like, but the point is he did a good job of making it a very, very alien world with their own culture, their own society, their own way of doing things, and more importantly, very, very advanced from the way we've done things. They've got to the point where they just have babies born in pods. They're so removed from humanity that it makes it easy to believe that those people are not like us, and that's what Clark is struggling with throughout the duration of the beginning half, really the whole movie. I would like to know if you think that what we saw in Zack Snyder's movie was more alien than what we saw in the 1978 Superman. I kind of feel like 1978 Superman is still more alien because that whole crystal technology thing, that kind of blew my mind. So number 5, one of the things that Man of Steel did right, General Zod. General Zod. Okay, not only was his character handled very well, with great purpose, but Michael Shannon, I had never seen him in anything before. I mostly just watch Superman stuff, if you can't tell. Michael Shannon took that Zod character and removed this, I kind of felt like Terrence Stamp had a very impersonable feel to him. It just seemed like he just wanted to be the boss. Michael Shannon had a much greater purpose. His whole goal as General Zod was to further the advancement of his people. His people was in decline. The politicians had messed everything up, and he was there to fix it and to say, okay, you're making us die. I'm going to make us live, which is what he liked about Jor-El, was the fact that Jor-El was focusing on making sure their planet didn't die and the people didn't die. He had the same goal and purpose. He just had a military upbringing and background and was bred to be a warrior, as he says. So it makes sense that he kind of, went about it in a way that was a little unethical. Now, I know I knocked Terrence Stamp a little bit, but if you feel like Terrence Stamp was a better Zod, let me know in the comments. I just personally feel that Michael Shannon is probably the best General Zod that I have seen to this date. Number 4, Man of Steel really got the meeting of Jor-El and Clark right. He was out searching, trying to figure out, he was keeping his ear out for strange goings on. He comes to this ship, he has his little key, he plugs it in, and his dad appears, leading him to a place in the ship where he can show him with their technology who he is, where he's from, what happened, who General Zod is. That whole scene was extremely captivating and made me kind of aware of kind of what was to come. It's like, okay, so whenever Zod gets on the table here later, we know it's going to be intense because this guy is not above going against the leadership of his own people for his main purpose. Well, and one thing that Zack Snyder did right with this movie, which may have been more of a Christopher Nolan thing, but they made it a first contact story. Kind of like Independence Day or something. This is the first time humans have been confirmed that there is something out there besides us. Ironically, they look just like us, which that's a whole nother story. But it was really, really cool to see him take it in that way. The 1978 Christopher Reeve movie was a great movie, but they didn't explore that angle. It was just simply that, you know, oh, this man can fly. That's weird. This is new. This is more of a, hold up, an alien invasion is on its way. And I felt like if they hadn't have done it the way they did it, the movie would have had a lot less impact, I think. Now, number two, when I first saw this in the movie, I kind of didn't like it for like, I'm talking literally like a second. But I only realized that later in the movie after it was already being eased into my mind, which is the fact that Lois, she already knows who Clark is. And this, if you're going to do what Zack Snyder was doing, trying to make this documentary style, realistic style movie, it makes a lot more sense that the woman who is the most invested in Clark, she works side by side with him, she is his partner, that she knows who he is. I can kind of get on board with the fact that Perry doesn't know who he is. He's just kind of, you know, writes him off as, oh, that's that weird guy that, you know, that Lois kind of carries, and he doesn't really see him a lot, doesn't look him straight in the eye, but Lois is going to have a lot of intimate time with him at the desk, at apartments, researching, you know, really getting to know how he thinks. That's not necessarily something a boss always does with their employees. They just don't have time for it. So I really like that they kind of made Lois already know, and it wasn't this big, drawn-out, long thing like she's always testing him, trying to figure it out. That was out the window, which made this storyline so much different from the original storyline in 1978 because that was kind of the ongoing comic book thing that was always happening. She was trying to pinpoint who Superman was, and he was always thwarting her. So I kind of like that that wasn't even part of it, even though I do enjoy those stories. Now, number one, some of you individuals need to get ready because you might not like this one, but I felt like this was the one that made the movie make the most sense. I felt like it was the one that made the movie carry the most weight. They stuck with the Messiah concept. They took the Jewish background of the, you know, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and when they were writing about Superman, it's clear that they were influenced by their own bringing up, their own realization of a Messiah coming, and Zack Snyder stuck with that for the movie. He didn't stick with it in a way where it was like you have to believe in a Messiah or not. He just stuck with it with the fact that he was doing everything he could to sacrifice himself, to sacrifice his own abilities, so that the people could be saved. Knowing that they're a flawed people, knowing that they don't deserve it, he sacrificed all that. He even sacrificed his home world, which is kind of a little opposite. He may have been the Messiah for the Earth, but he wasn't for Krypton. He said Krypton had his chance and just lasered Zod's little chair in half there. But the fact that they stuck with that, I think it's a really foolish idea to push that Messiah concept out because I don't really think it matters what your religious background is. I think understanding that he is a savior of people that don't deserve it is very important into breaking down the entire character of Superman because he could be a Zod. He could be somebody who's just like, I'm the most powerful, therefore I'm in charge, and I'm going to rule. Kind of like he did in Superman Red Sun or something like that. It could be done that way, but he doesn't do it that way. And the reason he doesn't is because we have this kind of moral high ground that we put on him. And I understand making him have some flaws here and there, making him a little more relatable, but we need to make him believe that he has to always be above that, even when he messes up, which is really cool. Like I said, but in the beginning, this is a brand new channel. I just talk about Superman. If you want to see all the stuff that I don't like about Man of Steel, you can watch this video right here.